Success so far. Hi, John.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you doing? I like your background.
I have a special client, and this is how I feel when I talk to him.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's saying a lot.
Well, I'm praying is what I'm doing.
Yeah, please. That's a good way. Arms outstretched to powers above.
How's that?
I like the other one.
Oh, I want to keep.
It's inspiring. Hi, Claire.
Okay, here we go. You scared John away.
Yes, you really have that effect.
Oh,
This is in Paris. The other one was actually southwest of Paris at the Cathedral of Chartres.
Oh,
So, highly recommended.
when you're a lady of leisure.
yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to get there.
And John, before we actually meet, yes, I'm going to be around here. I'm going to be around for another year.
Okay, very good. Thank
You
you.
asked me that. No,
No, that's fine. Good. Good. Okay, it is now 12:45 according to the atomic clock in Colorado. And I would like to open the consent calendar for the Montecito Board of Architectural Review. Item C1, 615 Romero Canyon Road. Is there anybody that is taking care of the screen?
Good question. Let me see.
Dale's here. I see Dale. Hey, Dale.
Hello.
No, lots of applicants. I guess I could. Nobody. I'm not good at plans.
Bill or Dave?
Mr. Wolf, no, Mr. Mendro.
I have them on my computer. I'm not really set up for it.
Wait a minute.
Well, there's no real rule that we have to
There
have.
he is. There he is. Hey, David. You're muted, David.
Hello.
There you go.
There we
Hi. Are you ready to have the screen sent over to you?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Looks like, Sharon, you need to allow me to share.
Oh, I just did it. Okay, I'll do it again. There we go. Thanks, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, David. Okay.
Here we are.
Okay. Item C1, there are some minutes from this project. Okay. Watson moves, seconded by Gottstanker. The project may return for final on consent with details and a landscape plan. There's also a planner memo, please.
Oops.
Based on the review of the application and supporting materials, the Montecito Land Use Development Code, this project meets all those standards. So thank you very much, Sam. And now the drawings. Claire, have you had a chance to review these?
Yes, I've seen, I've actually looked at for the drawings of everything. 'Cause we have-
Excellent.
Yeah.
And do these now meet your criteria for final, please?
Well, given the statement, has said something about landscape plans in the minutes. But then when I looked at the plan, I looked at the set of plans, we really don't, but there isn't any real landscaping needed for this project because everything is already there. So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that we had that in the minutes. But it doesn't appear to me that we need a landscape plan because the applicant is pointed out all the existing and there isn't any need for any landscaping. So I just want to be clear about that. And other than that, I think it's, other than the architectural thing, that's over in your side of the aisle here.
Yeah, I also reviewed the plans and I thought that a number of the details I thought that were missing are now included. So I would be ready to vote for approval on this. Do you agree with that, Claire?
Yes, I do.
This is not on for preliminary, so we do not need to open it for public comment. So Dale, we will be looking at this in 20 minutes, 25 minutes with the full board.
Okay.
Just when it really, that's the vote we are recommending to the full board. If you want to stay around, we'd love to have you. If you want to take off, so far we have a perfect record of agreement with the full board. So as you wish.
I will put it in your hands, faithful hands, and continue on with the 100% agreement.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Item C2, 560 Hot Springs Road. I saw Chris Ballinger's name. I don't know if there's Chris is actually there. And you, Chris, you are muted.
Yes, I'm coming in. There I am.
Okay, so we do have minutes again. Acceptable project, return with details, documentation on existing perimeter landscaping and information regarding finished grade at the back of the gazebo on the south elevation. Submit sample of proposed roofing material to planner to confirm reflectivity is acceptable. So we have some plans, Dave. Dave, there you go.
Yeah.
So we saw this, it's a relatively simple project, but you did get things tightened up here. So Claire, can we go back? Dave, one sheet. Claire, did this take care of it for the landscaping, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then there's some photographs that help document it, I guess, on the next page.
Yeah, that's where we actually see all of those, that whole mass of.
Yeah. And then farther down the set, I think it's, yeah, right there at the end, Dave. There are details which I did take a look at, and I thought that they were acceptable. You may get in trouble, Chris, with high fire on this project, at which point you're going to have to wrap some things with drywall or something.
Right. Yeah.
So just be aware that that might come down. I don't think that it's going to affect the look or feel of the project. It will make those posts a little bit bigger. But so I would be good for recommending for final approval. Do you agree with that, Claire?
Second, I'll second that.
Okay, good. So again, we're on for final approval. We do not need to ask for public comment. And it's about 12:53 or so. So I'm going to mute myself for 3 minutes or 7 minutes, and I'll see everybody back then.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Nell. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, Kimberly, are you with us?
I am indeed.
Excellent, thank you. It is now 1 o'clock. I would like to call the September 22nd Montecito Board of Architectural Review to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board, please?
John, I don't see any hands up, and I didn't receive any letters.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, reconsider the circumstances of the COVID-19 state of emergency. As far as I know, we are still in that state of emergency, and the board has expressed a desire to continue to meet virtually as long as that's true. So I will move to continue meeting virtually with the findings that are required. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion, please? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda status report. Anything, Sharon?
Yes. Sorry, I've got some beeping in the background. Item 1, thank you, Claire, has asked to be dropped, and they will come back at another time.
It is not on for anything except conceptual. Do we need a motion, please?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so item number 1 is dropped. Anything else, please?
No, thank you.
Okay. Minutes of the 25th. Anybody got any comments, please?
I do not.
Okay, anybody? Okay. The minutes of the 25th are labeled as August 8th on the draft minutes that we have, so that should be changed to the 25th. And that flowed through on the header at the top of every page as well. Okay, so Don Sharp.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like you came late and things like that on this meeting. So under item C1, we made an initial vote, which I think you were not here because you got in late. So that would be absent on that first action for Sharp is correct, I believe. Then, yes?
Yes.
Then there was a second action and moved by Wolf to rescind that, which was later, and you abstained. Is that correct? Or were you not here, or what happened, please?
I did abstain.
Okay, excellent, perfect. And then the last vote granted, you voted for the project, so it's 7-0, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So that was perfect. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Item number 2, comment number 4, concerns regarding feasibility of ingress, egress. This is that garage that was built illegally a long time ago over, I don't know if it was on Pomar, but Pomar, San Leandro. Was it the ingress, egress that we had problems with? Was it turning radius getting out of the garage? Does anybody remember?
Well, are you on number 2?
I am.
Backyard Properties Edition on Pimento?
1671 San Leandro Lane.
Go to the 825, Dave. I think you're in the 89822.
Oh, I'm in the wrong, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going, wait a second, this is what's in front of me to make no sense given what John is saying.
Item number 2, please. Okay, so item number 4, concerns regarding feasibility, and the words I am unclear about is ingress, egress. That's normally a human occupation kind of terminology, not something to do with the garage. We lost something. David, are you still there? We lost the screen.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, it just went out. How's that?
Yeah,
Perfect.
got it.
Does anybody remember what that comment was, please?
Looking at my notes here.
So I'm looking at it. So we're now at 1671.
Right. Comment number 4, the term ingress and egress.
Well, number 4, on number 2, it says, number 4 says concern regards feasibility. Oh, feasibility of ingress or ingress. I don't have any problem with that, John.
I think those words are odd.
Well,
everybody else-
but for me, I use them all the time on plans, when I was working on landscape plans, to designate that it, as a signal, this was the egress into the property. And when in working with, like roads department, they use that all the time.
Is everybody okay with those terms then, please?
Sure.
I'm fine with them. I think, I think what you're saying, John, is you're talking about the access and the clearance is required to get access.
That's what I think we were trying to get at, not the ingress and egress, but the turning radii, et cetera.
The only other option I could come up with was usability. So, and that didn't sound very good, but I'm happy to change it.
You're saying usability? Okay, well.
Ability to access it and get out of it.
I have no problem using ingress or egress.
Okay, let's leave it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Very good. Thank you, Kimberly. Good shot there. Okay, item number 4. Comment number 2, please. Provide 3D model images, massing model. I thought we just asked for a massing model. Yes, no?
Yeah.
This is that project down on Fernald Point. They're rearranging the garage and things like that.
Yeah, the massing model will be sufficient.
Yeah, but not images. So let's strike
It's a 3D massing model, right?
let's strike the word model images, those 2 words, please. And did comment number 5, did the word pickle court come up, or the words pickle court come up in that discussion? We can't invent comments now. Did it come up during that meeting, please?
I do believe at least one member of the MBAR suggested a pickle court instead of a tennis court.
Yeah,
Bill,
I think
seem to find that view.
I made note of that actually.
I think that after tennis court pickleball, tennis court period, pickleball question mark, how's that sound to everybody?
That's fine.
Okay. And that is all I have. Is there anybody else, please?
I have some news to share.
No, wait, on this agenda?
Oh, no,
Well, we're doing minutes right now.
We're doing minutes.
We're
There'll be a
not
place
sharing.
here in a minute for you to share your, okay, so is there a motion for approval of the minute? I will move for approval of the minutes of August 25 as amended.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now September 8th, then we'll get to you, Elida.
John,
Yes, please.
how about you abstain from item number 4?
On that one, okay, thank you very much, Tip. Thank you for being clear about that. Okay, so item September 8th, are there any comments on that agenda, please? Anybody?
Nothing for me.
Okay, item number 5, comment number 2. At the very end of that statement, tree lights at entry driveway. I don't think we are talking about the at the entry of the house. We were talking about the lights out at the street,
That's
Yeah.
correct.
okay? Item number 7, comment number 2. One member expressed opinion that, I'd like to strike the word details and add the word drawings, were insufficient, strike the word at and add the word for, preliminary and not review level, but approval. So it would read, one member expressed that the drawings were insufficient for preliminary approval. That was me. That was certainly my intent.
So you weren't addressing the word, I mean, you were addressing the word details, but at the time that you made that, one member expressed opinion that details were insufficient. Was it the details that were insufficient?
No, I thought it was me that made that, and I thought that it was the quality and the sufficiency of the drawings.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay. Now,
All of the drawings, you're not just the detailed drawings.
Right.
yeah, well, actually, the details were the best part of the drawings, but
Okay, I just.
whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
action. Watson barely voted for this. Okay, I certainly did not make the motion for this. Does somebody remember who moved for this item, please? This is Bob Easton's project at 110 Deerfield Road.
I can look it up.
Okay,
My notes, but they're at my desk.
My
Okay, then.
apologies. My notes indicate that Sharp.
Sharp moved for it.
Well, actually, yes, I apologize. It does look like Sharp moved. Does that
Okay,
sound
so
consistent?
does that sound right, Don? Did you vote for Bob's project last week? Move to have it approved? Don?
Yeah, because the minutes actually say Chung and Sharp were absent.
Can you guys please go back and review this just so that we have it done correctly? Please?
Yeah.
Will do.
I didn't move, so I seconded it, I guess.
Okay,
My notes, they're just back at my desk.
that's fine, please. Okay, so is there, I'd like to move for approval of the minutes of September 8th as amended. Is there a
Second
second?
that.
Is there any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay, we are up to Montecito consent. We have 2 items here, both for final. And we don't normally do this, but I think we can, Claire and I reviewed both of them, felt that
Oh,
both
John,
were-
by the way, I abstained the last meeting minutes. I wasn't at the meeting.
Thank you for your,
Same as Don.
well, Don was here for part of it at least.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, so we normally split each consent item out because there's weirdnesses in each one of them, but in this case, both of them were good as submitted, and so I would like to move to approve item C1, 615 Romero Canyon Road, and C2, 560 Hot Springs Road as approved.
And
As submitted, excuse me, as submitted.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion, please? All those in favor, please?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, members, informational briefing. Alida, did you have something?
I had something to share that yesterday I had a long conversation with Laura Camp. And she's the public information officer at Montecito Water District. And I've been thinking since these last few meetings that we've been having from a landscaper standpoint, we're going to have some serious water issues coming down, and maybe there's something that the board can do on a proactive basis in consort with the water district to try to have applicants see that It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, that either the state or the water district, the availability of water is going to become quite an issue. And I know we can't dictate from here. The water district has ordinance on the books about when you can water, how much you can water, and so on. But I thought maybe if we tried to steer some of our applicants more towards drought tolerant native plantings in lieu of lawn areas, we might be able to just be a little more proactive. Just a thought.
Is anybody else like, this is not on the agenda, so it can't be more than just an initial thought. Anybody else want to throw in anything, please?
Well, my feeling is that we do that. That's what for the landscape architect people or the whatever. I think we do. I think when we look at a landscape plan and it's got these massive lawns, we recommend that they don't do that. I think that's our part in the whole process, and we absolutely require that all landscape, that all of the WELO calcs and all of that, which is actually, it was actually the Montecito Water District that asked several years ago to have that included. And so for me, I don't see that there's anything other than what we do and what we're responsible for than what we're doing. That's my take on it.
Thank you. Anybody else, please?
I agree with Claire. I think we're already kind of taking a pretty sharp look at that condition now. Thanks for bringing it up and making it kind of forefront.
Well, as it turns out, I also have this week been thinking about this. We, as a board, review round numbers, 100 projects a year. There are 4,000 residential water meters in the Montecito Water District. It's not only Montecito, it's also Summerlin and a sliver of Carpinteria. All 3,900 projects don't have any of our input in them just because they don't have a project. WELO is constructed to be only applied at the time that a permit is requested. Okay, that's how the state set it up. I think WELO works, and my comment is that maybe what we want to do is to have a comment, write a letter to the Board of Supervisors and the Montecito Water District with a fairly simple statement that we find the water allocation that's part of WELO seems to produce landscaping allows for Montecito quality landscaping to be produced. And if they were looking for a standard, we feel that that standard does work. Again, that's not anything that we can discuss today. Do we want to put it on the agenda for next time or the time after?
Yes.
And have a full-blown discussion about this?
That'd be great.
Everybody, this is the third rail of California politics. I mean, if there's something that's going to blow up, it's going to be around water. Are we sure we want to walk into that, please?
Yeah. I think we should discuss it. But look what happened to outside of Sacramento. The state just slammed them shut. They said no outdoor watering. I think we just need to be ahead of the game and a little more proactive and be ready for what might be coming.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
I'm okay with the discussion, yes.
Okay, so Kimberly, can you put it on the agenda? I would like to invite Nick Turner from the Water District and Das Williams from the Board of Supervisors. They may or may not want to attend, but I'd like them to at least have an invitation from us. And I'd like to have it be the last item on the agenda, because once we open this door, public comment can happen from anybody that wants to make it. So I want to make sure that we have sufficient time to do it. without taking our normal applicants and pushing them till 10 o'clock at night. Okay? Yeah.
I
Sharon?
believe that you should, those invitations should come from you.
I will make them. I will call them. Okay?
So I'm going to put in the minutes that it will be a place an item on a future agenda since we don't have a specific date in mind.
Next week, guys? Next 2 weeks?
If you feel like you can get the invitations out and that's sufficient time for them to respond.
Hey, you know, if they want to get here, they can rearrange their schedules. So, okay, so anybody else for members' informational briefings, please?
Just to let you know, I'll be standing down on item 2, 1950 Sycamore Canyon Road.
Okay. Bill out. Anybody else, please? I have an astronomical observation today at 6:03 p.m. Summer ends. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, well, it's like, wow, this year's going fast.
Really?
Okay. Staff update, anybody?
Nothing for me, John.
Okay, very good. So Kimberly, that's going to be on the next agenda, right?
That's what I put on the minutes, yes.
At the end of the agenda, please.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Okay, anything else before we get going, please? Okay, item number 1 has been dropped, so it's item number 2. Bill, you're out. If you could mute yourself, turn off your mic, please. Who is here for 1950 Sycamore Canyon Road, please? Joaquin, I saw you.
Yes, I'm right here, John.
Okay, excellent. So this is the first time we've seen you. The floor is yours.
I usually cover myself up or put a Band-Aid on the picture. Yeah, I'm glad we're the first ones up today. So yeah, we're up today for a conceptual plan, a conceptual project, I should say. I'd like to just start off by showing the photographs. I have a photo sheet, and I could just walk you through the site a little bit first, and then get you familiarized with the property. This is a property located off of Sycamore Canyon Road. 1950 is just before the turn when you get close to Coyote and that section over there. There's a bridge that crosses Sycamore Creek to get to the property. It's not a very large creek, or not a very large bridge, I should say. And these photographs that you see at the top, 1, 2, and 3, partial 4, you have to be across the bridge before you even see these images. The reason I bring that up is this home is really secluded from the street. You don't really see it unless you completely stop the car and see through that whole riparian habitat that makes up Sycamore Creek there. So just in a quick pan around with all the photographs here, and we'll be probably referring more to photograph 9, 10, and 11. Those are the areas where our addition is going to be proposed. Even though the home is not visual from Sycamore, we put all our addition on the south side of the property. So on the north side, it's going to look pretty much the same. There's a little infill in the front, but it doesn't go beyond the exterior walls. But like photograph 11, you could see there's a significant bank right up past that, the gate or the little fence there. And that's a protected area beyond that. And we are working with biologists. We will have an arborist on this, landscape architect, and a civil engineer. So I could start shooting through the drawings and show you what we're proposing here. We can go probably to right off of this sheet. I could just state that we are under the FAR maximum allowed for this addition.
What is the FAR?
It's 3754, I believe, would be the 100%, and we're at 99%. Oh, it doesn't show it right there.
Yeah, that's why I interrupted, because I couldn't.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was looking at one on my sheet and I could see it, but it didn't seem to. The image is not on there, but we are under the maximum 100%.
100% clear is what I got. Go
This is-
ahead, Joaquin.
This was just put together by the biologist, but it reflects some of the setbacks from the significant setbacks from the creek. And that's why we focused our improvements and additions on the south side of the property to not come into any sensitive zones on that part of the property. If I can go to the next page, I'll show, I believe, actually the next one is our floor plan right here. So you can see here is this is the south sides on the bottom of the sheet here. Just to the right, the entry, that's an infill area. That's the only part that's, once you cross the bridge, you'll be able to see. Everything else is on the south. And you will be removing where the new kitchen is being placed. All that's a new addition there. And we're also proposing a trellis shade area. So you come off the kitchen, dining area, and enjoy a terrace off that back area. On the left of the property, we are adding a lower floor area to accommodate the second floor. It currently is a 2-story home. I believe it's an old Zimmerman house, Jim Zimmerman. So you can see all the angles that were his style of architecture. You shoot through the next pages. I'll show you the second floor plan. One after that, that's a demo, I believe. So here's the second floor. And on this one, we're just remodeling the existing master bedroom to create the closet and bathroom. And then the small addition behind to the left of it would create the modest little second floor. So trying to keep it simple, minimal square footage addition. And then the next ones, we'll just shoot through these. That's a roof portion, and the majority of the roof remains the same. Here on these, you can see the addition, the primary addition is on the left-hand side. I show the new south elevation and the existing south elevation below to kind of give you a reference of what was there and how it's changed from that. And there's obviously where the trellis is in the center and those new French doors, that's popping out towards us. So I put a different shade on there, different hatch to try to represent that. The next 3 elevations are also, this is probably the best one because it shows where the majority, but the next 3 have the same style. Here's a trellis. The bank would be on the right-hand side here, and the creek would be on the left-hand side in this west elevation. And then the next elevation is the north. This is the one that really minimal. If there's just over on the far left-hand side by the window, that's where the entry is going to be enclosed, but it's currently already roofed. So it's a minimal impact facing the north and the east. And the last elevation is the east, and there's infill right where that odd-shaped window, if you see on the lower part, that area is up above, and the new is where the addition is. And let's see, I didn't see, I keep trying to move it with my mouse, but I believe that might be the end of the photographs. But here in this style, you could see we will be eliminating the overhang and create a seaside architecture style. We will also put new windows, new siding, and new roofing. And that's pretty much the extent of this. This is just conceptual for the first time for you guys to see it. We just want to get a rough direction from Mass Folk and scale of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Don Sharp, please. Don? You know, he disappeared before. I don't know if he's got internet problems. I'm going to come back to you, Don, if you can hear me, but can't speak. Tip, please.
No questions. Thank you.
Claire, questions?
No, yeah, no questions.
Elida, please.
Dave, can we go back to the first drawing, the site plan that shows the,
Yeah, right there.
right. No questions. Thank you.
David,
Yes, are you proposing to remove any trees or landscaping other than within the footprint?
No, thank you, David. Yeah, the sycamore that is on the left side, has been reviewed by an arborist, and a big branch had broken off and was very close to hitting the structure. And they have two little kids, two twins, I believe. And we have someone taking a look at that. That's proposed to be removed. There are two sycamores there. I know that only looks like it shows one, but maybe the two crowns are merged together in this this plan that was put together by DDEC.
Okay. Does that show in the photos?
Yeah, I believe that the photograph sheet will show the tree.
I think it would be
It
just,
does show it on like,
it's right,
yeah, right here on photo number 12. You could see
there,
that
there they are.
there's two, one right after another. And that's that one that's closest to us in this photograph.
Okay.
So the closest one is the one that's going?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Don, are you with us? Are you muted? Don?
Hi, no questions. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Glad to have you back. And Joaquin, do you have a 3D massing model? I had a little bit of trouble with one of the elevations that I think a model. Do you have it made yet or not, please?
We do, but I don't believe it was part of the submittal.
No, it's not. So, but
Yes, we do.
You could share it with us next time.
We certainly can.
Yeah, okay, so is there anybody attending this Zoom meeting that would like to address the board on item number 21950 Sycamore Canyon Road, please?
John, nobody has their hands up.
Excellent, thank you. Comments, Don, comments?
I think it's a good project. It's certainly, as Joaquin mentioned, minor in nature, and I believe doesn't change the character of the house particularly. So I have no negative comments.
Any positive comments?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, excellent. The coin has two sides. Tip, please.
Yeah, I have no comments also. I think that'd be a fine minor addition.
Claire?
I agree with the other speakers. I think Pacific Architects has done a really lovely job adding space to this building. Actually, partly because I drive by it almost every day. I mean, yes, I can't totally see the building, and but whoever the new owner is doing a great job cleaning up, doing brush clearing and all of that, because I keep seeing all this happening, and I just think that, Bill, you've done a really lovely job on this. I really like this house and this project.
Okay, that's clear. Elida, please.
No comment.
And David, comment, please.
Yeah, I think it's a nice update of the project, the detailing in the roof eaves and the windows and everything. Make it a nicer project, and I think the additions are consistent with the architecture. The one question I have is the story poles, whether the board feels that story poles are necessary.
Anybody on that, please?
I don't think story poles are necessary.
Nor do I.
Yeah, nor do I.
Okay. Tip?
I agree.
Okay. My comments are, I think that there's a very slight amount of additional articulation that could happen on this project. The reason I asked for the 3D model on this particular elevation on the upper left-hand side, I was wondering maybe the second floor could protrude forward, could cantilever out, give us a shadow line for essentially no additional problem in terms of structural this or that. And I don't know, I think I'll know when I see the massing model, but maybe there is a way to add just an extra touch of articulation, which I think that the new massing doesn't have as the old one does, because it's the old house, the existing house has a lot of smaller masses stepping next to each other, and this one is a larger mass, all unified. So I don't know that it matters that much, but I'd like to at least encourage you to consider that. And so there is no motion on this. What do we want to do with this next?
I think we recommend to the planner that it be placed on the agenda for preliminary.
And
That's correct.
final? And final?
Well, yeah,
Agreed.
Okay, preliminary, final, full board, right?
yes.
Full
I
set of details, et cetera. And
Okay.
if you could, Joaquin, bring
Yes.
show the massing model too. Maybe I'll understand that new thing just a little bit.
Absolutely. It's not a
Thank
problem.
you. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And Bill Wolf abstained, actually, he recused himself on that item. Okay, item number 3, 743 San Ysidro Road, please. Michael, are you here or somebody else?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you very much.
How's everybody doing?
Thank you, good, thank you.
So yeah, I think we can stay on this presentation. There was two sets of drawings that we'd submitted. One was the more presentation style, and then the other one was the architectural drawings. So project is fairly simple. There's an existing Spanish style house on a very large lot. It's 2.7 acres. We're proposing to do 3 things. The agenda, the description of the project in the agenda is absolutely incorrect. I think there was some confusion there. I don't know why the project description was wrong, but effectively there's 3 items that we're talking about. There's a new accessory structure, number 1, 700 square feet. There's a new secondary accessory structure, 734 square feet, and then there's an addition of 503 square feet to an existing small pool house. So I can kind of go through the site plan if you go to page 3. Yep, so you can see the 3 structures. Accessory structure number 1 is on the north corner in that triangular area. The architectural style of all of these additions are to match the existing Spanish style home. So the clay tile roof, the stucco siding, stucco exterior cladding, similar window styles. And then the accessory structure number 2, which is adjacent to the existing tennis court, to kind of support that tennis court area as a kind of just has for storage for the tennis and various refreshments in there, and then the expansion of the pool house. There isn't a remodel to the existing pool, which is a separate permit. It's kind of shown in this plan, but that was done kind of separately. For now, there's no landscape shown, just because we want to present the structures conceptually to get your kind of take on it. So if you go to accessory structure number 1, you can kind of see that plan there. So again, very simple gabled roof design. Look at this elevation on the front. The next slide, you can kind of see it tracking through. It's somewhat tucked into the hillside. There's a little bit of grade change that you can see with the steps as it kind of sits into the side of the slope, very kind of gradual slope. And then if you go to the 3D rendering, you can kind of get a good perspective of the architectural style as it sits within the landscape area. So again, consistent with the existing structure that's there, the divided light windows, the copper downspouts and gutters, the clay tile roof, and then the stucco exterior finish. So that's accessory structure number 1. And then if you scroll down to, is the pool house the second one in line? Okay, so the pool house addition, we're looking to add a flat roof addition towards the rear of the pool house. So the footprint stays. You can see the existing plan. If you go to the proposed, you can see that expansion kind of just enlarges it a little bit. They're going to use it as a pool house / gym. that the roof addition slides underneath the existing roof line, and it would be a standing seam copper roof design that kind of has a large window with views to the kind of entrance. There's some really pretty olive trees that are sitting into that as you enter the property, and then you can kind of see that rendering, which shows the it's sitting in context of the site. Yeah, the next image. Again, kind of matching the architectural style, so we're not introducing any new styles to the existing property, and we're kind of matching. So then, if you go to accessory structure number 2, this is again a kind of gabled roof element where we have a one of the roof lines is running north to south, and then we go perpendicular as it faces towards the pool house. You can kind of see that massing there. Yeah, it's all kind of pretty self-explanatory. Nice big windows as you're looking at towards the landscaping. It's kind of tucked within this. Actually, what sits there currently right now is a pond that we're removing. Interestingly enough, you guys were talking about water use, so that was one of the reasons why we wanted to kind of get rid of that pond, because we want to reduce our water consumption on this lot. And then that is the rendering as it kind of sits under these existing oak trees, just kind of tucks quietly into that corner adjacent to the tennis courts. That's kind of the big items. We're obviously conceptual, so we just want to present this and then get your feedback, and then hopefully we can present next time with more details if required.
Questions? Bill, please.
Yeah, Dave, could you go to the site plan real quick?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have any site photos either, or property.
I didn't, and apologies. That was something that we accidentally left out.
I was curious about what the style of the house is. Are there any arches like you show?
Yes, there is arches. If you're looking at the main residence, the east to west elevation, there is you can probably see it in there. There is arched windows on the front, and there is shutters. So that was, again, kind of matching some of the arched window elements in the new structures, and then the shutters on the guest house was consistent with the existing architecture.
Full half
yeah,
round.
there you go. Yeah, so you see the arched windows there.
Okay, all right. And then on the patio, I couldn't quite tell what was. If you go back, sorry, Dave, for having you jump around the site plan there real quick. Is that, if you zoom in below the pool, the bottom part of the pool, the south side of the pool, is that patio pushing up against the property line there? Is that
no, really that is kind of misleading, because the way that we're just drawing this in our software, it's showing it as like very flat. But really, this would just be graded, so it's a little bit flatter to get that kind of pathway element. But there's no hardscaping there. That's an existing wall that kind of differentiates that grade break. So all that landscaping around the pool is going to, I think we'll just have to level it a little bit, but it's really kind of staying consistent. There's nothing hard going up against that property line.
So the south side of the pool is landscaping, not paving.
Correct. Exactly. Yep. It's all landscaping. So around that pool, they wanted to do it as softscape, not hardscape.
Okay. Are you removing any trees?
There was not any intention of removing any oak trees. So if you look at the structure number 2, you can see the drip lines of those existing oak trees. So we're trying to keep all those trees and not remove any of them.
Are you within the 20% allowable there in terms of the encroachment?
I think we are, because really the big one that's the concerning one is, and again, we kind of dashed in the footprint of the, for every inch we go 1 foot out. So the big tree is that one. I think it's 56 inches or something, combined oak tree. So we need to review it with an arborist, but I feel comfortable with with the proposal that we're not going to intrude too much, particularly because there is an existing pond that sits right where the structure is going. So presumably any of the roots are going underneath that kind of fairly deep and stepped pond. So I'm not terribly concerned.
And your FAR, have you done a total for your FAR?
We did. That's in the other. If you go to the other set of drawings that were submitted on the cover sheet, we have the FAR study.
Do you remember what it was?
I can't. If you just open it.
Let's see.
Yeah, zoom in there. I think it's 100 and in that project information square. You can kind of see it. Zoom in.
Second box from the left.
There you go. Yeah, that's the one.
120.
So 123%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we just complete our review with Bill? Claire, please, questions.
Questions. No, I don't have any questions. I guess I'll hold off till we get to statements.
Okay, David.
I just have some issues with the agenda and all of this, and yeah.
David?
No, Bill covered my questions.
Yeah, he's great. Tip, please.
Same. He asked all the questions. Thank you.
Elida?
John, are we permitted to ask the purpose of these two structures, not the poolside one, but the other, what their proposed use is going to be? Is that?
That's more of a planner requirement. I don't think that we have any say on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Then no questions?
Don, please.
Yes. Where are the existing neighborhood homes, other physical things? We need the footprint of your neighbors.
Or an aerial photograph.
Well, I mean,
David, you've got
right there. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
And I bow at the knee to Bill. So, public comment. Is there anybody attending the Zoom meeting that would like to address the board on item number 3, 743 San Ysidro Road, please? Nobody? Okay, thank you. Close public comment.
Wait, hold on, John.
What? Sorry.
Should probably, for those who aren't always clear, ask them to raise their hands.
If you want to address the board on item 3, would you please raise your hands or hand?
All right, I don't see any hands. Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you. Okay, comments. We're at concept first review. Bill.
Okay, so I would say we'd want to study, obviously, the FARs in the area. You might even break out what the house is existing without additions, and then we could see what it is currently and what you're adding to make it to the 100.
116 existing, 123 new.
Okay, all right, so we'll want to see a study of the neighborhood for that. Go to the elevations there, Dave. So the arches, although they're on the existing house, I kind of question maybe some of it, and then the other board members might have their own feeling on those. It'd be great to see what the existing house, I mean, this one's kind of a flattened arch, and yet the others are sort of full half arches. The alignments of some of them seem a little different, maybe off a bit, so I'd maybe study those a little more. I think that one there, that one seems okay in terms of the distance between the top of the arch and the fascia as well. You want to kind of be careful with that. And then can you go to the one where the addition on the back of the pool house, Dave, where that is? The elevation of that, I'm not quite convinced. And so go to the side elevation there, Dave. And maybe you can't see that potentially, so maybe it's okay, but it feels a bit like it's just a little box kind of, kind of shoved on there and doesn't really have a lot of character, and maybe that's okay. I'm not sure you're going to see the standing seam roof at all, and that actually might be too short of a pitch for even the standing seam roof. So I'd maybe restudy that roof element a little more. It just seems like too much of an added feature that really doesn't tie in with the original or the main architecture. And I think that is all I have. Thank you.
Claire.
Well, I'm going to go back from the very get start. Is that this project has no planner, right? So I'm going to recommend that you to the applicant that you submit your land use plan and get yourself a planner. Then moving forward from there, I would request that you and the planner correct the agenda, because you pointed it to yourself. I can't tell what building is what and what you're intending to do by what's the agenda. So let's get the agenda, because that's a public document and it's where everybody goes to. So that, for me, that has to happen. And then when you come back, I'd like to see the photographs of the existing building. And then with your planner, I think this is an answer to Elida's question. What are those buildings going to be used for? Well, it says they're accessory buildings. Well, you can't just have willy-nilly accessory buildings. Is one a guest house? Is one a pool house, a cabana? What are these buildings? That's why I think I'm confused too. You kind of talked about, the one by the tennis court and the one by the pool, and then there's this other one that's up there somewhere. So I'd like to, before I want to actually weigh into the project, I'd like to have accurate information about what all this is all about. Yeah, that's it for me. I think.
Okay, very good. Thank you. David, please.
Yeah, I just noticed, is this building proposed to go on the setback, or is that just the roof?
Michael?
Sorry. That is the roof line. That's the eave.
The eave, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, then my comments are similar to Bill's. I think studying the fenestration, I think the mass, bulk, and scale and the layout of the buildings is generally good. I think it's the fenestration, the arches, and having those sized correctly and consistent between the buildings and having enough mass above them. And also a lot of the windows look like they're just flush to the exterior walls, and in this style of architecture it'd be much stronger to have let me get to that real quick, have these recessed and have some shadow. So I think just taking another look at the detailing of the fenestration would be important, and then definitely a neighborhood study justifying the FAR of 123%.
And
Thanks.
get a planner.
Tip?
We tried to get a planner.
That's fine. It'll all work out. Tip?
I have nothing else to add to all the comments.
Elida?
The structure, I think number 2, eventually, I'd like to see a landscape plan. It looks like there's maybe 2 or 3 oaks there, and how this building's going to impact the oaks with a landscape plan. Showing the oaks on the plan so that we have a good idea. That's it.
Don, please.
Thank you. I'm concerned that we do not have adequate information on the main house as to detailing, fenestration and so forth. I think the flat roof on the pool house can be more creative rather than just as it is proposed. I'm concerned that the fenestration, and this has been mentioned by others, is not creative and too large, does not go with the Hispanic nature of the main house. And I'm concerned about that. So, and the FAR issue is also crucial. Thank you.
And I don't think I have anything more. So what I hear is restudy the architectural character in terms of the proportioning of windows and doors, an arborist report to ensure that the oak trees that are there are protected, and an FAR study to justify your overage. So you do not have a planner. So there's no motion. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Item number 4, 607 Stone Meadow Lane. Is there anybody here for that, please?
Yes. I am.
William, thank you.
Hi. Hi, I'm William Hefner. I'm here with Carl Krass and Mark Koskowski from my team that were the architects for the project. This is a new home on Stone House. Not Stone House, I'm sorry. Stone Meadow, sorry. Stone Meadow for a family, a young family that we're going to present to you today. It's a one-story house, and it's notable in that it sort of turned significantly. It's sort of running long ways on the lot to take advantage of some very dramatic views of the mountains. We're tearing down an existing house from sort of the 60s. And it provides for generous setbacks to our side yard neighbors, and it's allows for sort of zoning of the property to include sort of auto court, kids play space, and then the principal rooms all having views to the north to the mountains. So I'm going to let Carl kind of review the details with you, but it's a first submittal. We're looking for conceptual review.
Hello. Can I interrupt you for a second? Do you guys have a vicinity map to get everybody kind of?
Yeah.
I was wondering that too.
Okay.
Okay, that's.
There it is. So it's
off of Boccaccio.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Off that little funny street that goes west.
No, I'm very clear with this street. I've done 3 projects on this in the past.
Does everybody know where we are now in the world?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, William.
Okay, thank you.
Carl?
Hello, I'm Carl Cross from Studio William Hefner. Maybe we go to slide 4 to kind of give an existing context and kind of get everybody orientated correctly. So the bottom right-hand slide photograph is kind of an overview of the site and how it relates to the neighbors into the context. So there is an existing 1960s house there that is orientated more south with a long driveway accessing an ADU in the garage to the back and with a double driveway. So there's a lot of hardscape in there that we're planning on removing. We are planning on keeping the existing sandstone wall in the front and a plaster wall that's recessed about 5 feet from the right of way. And but basically everything else is going to be new. So I'll just go through the photographs up on top. That's kind of showing the existing house from the driveway. to get a good feel of what some of the existing landscaping is. We are planning on reusing a lot of the olive trees, young olive trees that are on the property. The main house looking north elevation, that is a tricky one to photograph. That is basically that long line along the north end of the property with all the driveway going back to there. The south elevation, next photograph below, is really kind of the view that we're really kind of orientating the house. And if you could see beyond the house, there's really great views of the mountains looking north with some of the cypress trees in the background. There's an existing podocarpus that's kind of straight in the middle there that kind of bookends that. It kind of opens up that view to the north. The west elevation, all of the house as well, kind of looking beyond that to the mountain views is really the kind of orientation we would like to capture. And the streetscape below shows the existing small 18-inch high sandstone wall at the right of way that we're planning on keeping, and also the existing plaster wall as well.
Yeah.
And the
So-
project?
And the project. Next slide, please. There we go. And the project is, again, a approximately 4,500 square foot house that is one story. It's kind of linear along the east-west axis. Again, kind of sawtoothed in the back to take advantage of those views. The entry is off the street. The man and pedestrian entry is a series of steps coming up to a small little courtyard and entering the space. The public areas and the living areas, dining and kitchen is kind of orientated towards the north and that yard into that exterior space and the pool of cabana beyond. Once you get to the back end of the house, it gets more private, and the kids' rooms and the playroom kind of open up to the south and the kind of their little play area. There is a courtyard that kind of defines those two spaces that will allow a lot more light and ventilation into those back areas and those rooms, with the primary suite kind of anchoring that back end of that. There is a proposed ADU that we're planning on the back and northwest part of the property, and that kind of orientates that. That's plan that we just kind of went through. Here's kind of the roof plan. You could stop at the roof plan, I guess. Stop at the roof plan just kind of shows that we're, instead of one big building with a roof, we're kind of breaking down the building into multiple components using a flat roof and some of the more traditional gable-ended roofs on that.
See number 11.
That's the ADU. We could probably, yeah. And then the next slide is the small little cabana. That's just really incorporating a little trellis. So here's the exterior elevations. Might be able to zoom in on some of those, looking at the east elevation or the street elevation there, kind of approaching it with the entry in the middle there, the garage on the long axis on the end of that. It's kind of hidden away from the garage doors. The garage doors will be located in the back, and that's for that little court. And the longer north elevation is more of the primary elevation of this, looking north and to the openness of the yard, featuring the living space with the large doors kind of opening into that space, and then some of the smaller connecting spaces with the different volumes, clad in, well, the primary is clad in stone, with the other smaller one being clad in wood. You could also see the master, the primary suite, with the bedroom and then the connecting office there. And then below, We have the west elevation or the back elevation of the house. And you could see that the house is broken down into several different components with smaller connecting flat roofs. And the bottom elevation is the south elevation. So that is the kind of cut through the driveway as you come through and into the courtyard with access into the back of house kitchen, and then a wall kind of defining the public areas from the private, and the private having the bedrooms and having the kids' rooms coming out to the play area. If you go back to one of the slides, I think the second slide kind of just shows the material palette, kind of a concept of the exterior materials. So again, incorporating kind of a standing seam metal roof with cedar siding on certain elements, and some of the hardscaping, some of the existing sandstone walls, and just the concept of the glazed breezeways that kind of connect the two different volumes together.
And the last, yes, thank you.
And then the landscape plan.
Hello, my name is Mark Koskowski, and I'm the landscape architect with Studio William Hefner on this project. I'll start talking about this existing street view, which has the low sandstone wall and the existing, it's about a 5-foot plaster wall. And we want to, I think Carl had mentioned, there are some existing olive trees within the property that we'd like to bring out to the street between the low sandstone wall and the plaster wall. There is an existing oak tree that it currently is at the bottom left-hand corner of the garage and about 6 feet away from the corner. But the tree is in decline, and it looks like it has been in the natural drainage runoff and has been in decline because of that. Our arborist, Duke McPherson, has recommended removing the tree because it doesn't look like it can recover. And his mitigation is recommending 3 24-inch box oaks. And so that's what we would like to propose. And those oaks would be around the perimeter on the west side or the left-hand side of the property. So we do have, going back to the street view, we currently have 2 curb cuts, 2 driveway accesses for the property, and we'd like to close off the access on the north side, which I think will improve that street view. We will just extend the low sandstone wall and the plaster wall up on that upper right-hand corner, and closing that off to the street. Our planting will be using very low water using material, oaks, the olives especially, and any shrubs and ground cover will be on the low end of the water use spectrum. There is an existing oak tree up on the upper right-hand corner, which is, and then there's the existing podocarpus, and we look at those as both specimen trees that really kind of frame that view, as Carl said, to the mountains out to the north. The property on the south to north is about a 10-foot elevation difference. There's a retaining wall on that north side, about 10 feet from the property line, that is existing, and we will just use that to remain. There'd be some minor modifications where the gym is located in that upper left-hand corner. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to hear about. I know it's on the lower left-hand corner is where we have the children's play area and their play lawn. And if there's any questions.
Well, we're going to get to questions as soon as you're done presenting.
Okay.
Are you guys done? please?
I'm finished.
And William, are you good?
Yes.
Okay, so Tip, let's get you started on this project, please.
Okay, yeah, I have one question.
Questions, yeah.
Yes, one is the height of the main ridge over the great room from seeing from the street.
We can get you that information. I think it,
Right there.
let's say the elevation right below
21.
that, right below that.
So 21 feet is the finished floor? No, up below that one.
Yeah.
One, yep, that's it. So
you want-
21 feet is 21 feet above the finished floor?
That is correct.
And then the finished floor is how high from the street?
Approximately about 4 feet.
So it's about 25 feet from curb.
Yes.
All right, that's my question. Thank you.
Elida.
Can we please go to slide 11? So Mark, in total, is this all new lawn that you're thinking of putting in around the pool and the children's play area?
It is new lawn, but the property currently has quite a bit of lawn. It's actually a little bit more than what we're showing now.
In different areas? Are you reusing existing, or are you taking out existing and putting new sod or seed in?
It would all be new. I think with the demolition of the existing house, there's not really any way to save it.
I'd imagine. The green area behind what looks to be an outdoor barbecue area and the vegetable garden, behind that, before the tree symbols, all that is green, and the same thing on the south or on the left side of the drawing behind the trees. What material are you thinking about using there?
We would be introducing all very low water using materials, ceanothus, rosemary, and more native plants that would eventually not be irrigated.
So right now, all that lawn around the pool is just an aesthetic.
Yes.
No more questions.
Don?
Yes, you have shown no landscaping between the automobile court and the property line. Are you going to continue that with landscaping along there?
Paved. They've got a driveway there.
No, yes, we would have planting to line that side. We have plenty of room to do that. We didn't extend it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Claire.
Is the driveway as drawn is the way is you're intending to propose, that's what you're proposing? Is this driveway configuration?
Yes, except we would have a planter on the south side adjacent to that property.
So, okay. And is it correct, given it's on the agenda, I want to be clear, you are literally scraping this lot?
Correct.
The house, old houses, everything is going away. Nothing, nothing is being saved.
Correct.
Okay.
Including trees?
Well, we're only demolishing, is we'd like to remove the one oak that's ailing. Otherwise, there aren't really any trees that we are removing.
Okay, very good. Okay. Claire, back to you.
Well, my question then, going along with that one, is going to be how many trees are you removing?
Okay, we can, we'll quantify that. The site's mostly open. In the middle, there may be a tree or two along this rear property line that are sort of insignificant, not protected, but we'll quantify that for next time we see it. Don't know exactly.
Okay, and I can't say that, okay. Scraping and arborist height. I think that's all the questions I have, John.
David
I don't have any questions, John. Thanks.
and Bill.
Your FAR is 116, is that correct? Just verifying that.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay. And then had you thought of if you were to move the house and the driveway to the north a little, would that be difficult to do? Just out of curiosity, are you tied in, pinned in? Is there any?
Yeah, it starts to reduce our, because our view, the house on the north of us, at the pad is 6 or 7 feet taller higher than we are. And we're trying to see over their edge to the mountain. So the closer we get to that, the more it cuts off our view.
So does it go, are you saying it goes down? Doesn't it go up from the north, from the south to the north, you're saying?
No, so the adjacent neighbor at the north, their pad is higher than ours. And then they have landscaping. So what makes our scheme work is to be able to see over that to the mountains. It's just if we push the house farther to the north, we lessen our view, if that makes sense. Right, the closer we are to that, the taller, steeper the angle is, and the less we see of the mountains.
Oh, I see. You're talking about looking back the other direction toward the north, not to the south. I see.
Yeah, there's no view to the south. It's really this north.
Okay, got it. Pool equipment, is that, did you show that on the site there somewhere? Is that behind the cabana, or the other, your landscape drawing actually had other areas there, maybe?
Yeah, the pool equipment is behind the pool cabana.
That's what the little site wall thing is there.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's the driveway material? What's the plan? Do you know yet?
We haven't specified that yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was all. Thank you.
And I have no further questions. So public comments. Is there anybody attending the Zoom conference that would like to address the board on item number 4, 607 Stone Meadow Lane? Please raise your hand if you'd like to talk to us.
I don't have anybody, don't see anybody with their hands up, John, thank you.
Okay, comments, Tip?
Yeah, I just have a couple comments. Number one, had to do with the FAR. Obviously, it's more than 110. So I believe that if you would provide a study for the neighborhood and see what the average FAR for the whole neighborhood, that would be helpful, especially the cul-de-sac area. Number two, I'm a little concerned about the height because of the main wing, the main great room. That'll be facing the street. By the time from the street, I think that poking out like 25 feet, as what you mentioned. So I might want to just see a story pole in that, because the cul-de-sac is a pretty small street with a couple homes, and I'll make sure that it doesn't completely stick out and overwhelm the neighborhood. That's my comment number two. And then the last comment had to do with the beautiful landscape plan you show the last page. It's very soothing because it's so green, which also really concerns me about how much grass and things on the side of this scale. And when we are really trying to cut back on the water usage at the whole community, and that was discussed before the meeting. And so it's something that I'm on one hand it looks nice, but we appreciate that you don't have much paving, but at the same time, the amount of grass is really a concern, just to keep that going. And also the screening of the properties from the neighbors. Some places seem like you have screening, some places you don't. So maybe the next phase we can address the screening. So it will be screened from the neighbors, and perhaps show the next door. We always ask for the site vicinity info, all the neighbors, the house around the site, we can have a better idea on how this project relates to the neighbors. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip. Elida?
I'll be eager to see a proper landscape plan with this, and perhaps you can figure out what percentage of this actual acreage is called out to be lawn, so that we can kind of get an idea of just how the overall, how much lawn's going in. That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay, thank you.
Don?
Thank you. I am concerned about the FAR issue and need some clarification about that. I'm also, as has been stated, very concerned about the amount of lawn. And other than that, I think the proposal is a good one. I certainly appreciate getting rid of that very ugly driveway winding through the site. So, and I think the texture of and color of that proposed driveway is very important. Thank you.
Claire?
Well, I'm going to say, okay, so definitely before you come back from me, I want you to restudy the amount of lawn, especially the lawn around the pool. That area could be designed with half that much lawn, in my opinion. Then Tip has addressed the height. I made a note to myself about the height. This height is going to stick up above every other house that's in that neighborhood. They're all pretty low. They were all built at the same time, kind of in the 50s, early 60s, as far as I can, from other projects and owners that have told me that. And I think the height is going to be a little bit of a concern for me, because I think where you've set it on that lot is going to stick up above everybody else's house. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but I just would keep looking at that, and I'll go out. I think Tip's recommendation to have at least one story pole, in the middle of that higher part, so that when we go look at it, either by ourselves or whatever, I can get an idea about how high that top ridge is going to be above everybody else's ridge. Then I'm going to ask you to restudy the driveway. I think yes, it's better to have this driveway, but having it right up against the property line, and you might want to consider turning the garage so you don't have, so that a lot of your driveway is in the setback. And I think that it'd be better to kind of re-look at the garage and the driveway through there, so that you do have enough planting in the setback. And yeah, and I said that, driveway, yep, that's it. Those are my comments.
David?
Yeah, I like the architecture and the style, but I'm going to chime in on the concerns that the other board members have mentioned. The lawn is definitely a concern, the size and area of it. The height of the main living space relative to the compatibility of the neighborhood. So I would like to see a story pole of that ridge line so we can assess that. In having a buffer from the driveway to the south neighbor. But in general, I like the direction the project's going, and I like the design. It's just these compatibility issues and then the water use of the lawn.
Bill?
Yes, my comments are similar to Dave's. I think I do appreciate the elimination of the long driveway that was mentioned earlier. I think the architecture generally is good. I like the material selection and the massings, generally speaking. Could you go up a sheet there, Dave, to 10? And I'm not as concerned maybe about the front of that. A story pole would be helpful to see that 21 feet what's more overwhelming to me is the massing of that fireplace element. It looks almost overscaled and too large for that face. And that's just my opinion of it. Maybe other members have some other thoughts, but it's a large mass there. And I think that's going to be pretty overwhelming as the first thing you see from that side. So, you know, I do like the elements that you have, though, and the way you've kind of treated the features and in the majority of the architecture. Certainly the materials are great. FAR study, reduced lawn, and the story pole, I think would be helpful of that front face. And maybe it's just the ridge, but you know, rethink that fireplace, because that to me seems like a large mass. Thank you.
I want to echo everybody, including David. I think it's going to be a handsome building when it's done. I think it's a little aggressive as it sits there right now. FAR and height. I think the driveway needs to be reconsidered significantly. Get rid of that paving. If you could, I know it's early in the process, we have had a public comment about the reflectivity of metal roofs. Could you please bring a sample of the roofing material that you want to use? And as you select it, can you please make sure it has a very low reflectivity? Now, let's take a look at the roof plan. I don't think it's only the main roof. I think some of these secondary roofs are not that much lower, and I think they're going to have an important effect too. Do others agree with my assessment? Do we just need the one, or do we actually want 1, 2, 3, 4 on this?
You mean as far as putting up story poles?
Yeah, ridge lines.
Ridge lines, yeah.
What do you guys think?
You know, John, I think the main element, the great room, the four corners and the ridge line, I think that's probably the major item that can be seen. And obviously, as Bill mentioned, the big chimney that could be, you know, addressed. But the rest, I believe that they seem to be much smaller scale. That's my opinion.
Okay, anybody else?
I agree with that, Chip. I think the main living area is the biggest massing element with the fireplace. I think the rest would be okay.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is the four corners of the main room, the ridge of the main room, and the chimney four sides, so that we get to see the full height of it. Is that correct, or is that over asking for too much, please?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you get that, William, please?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so anything else before we go?
I have one thought. Could you go back to that site plan, Dave, again? You know, I forgot to mention my feeling about the drive there. It gets really pinched against the property line. And I look at your floor plan layout. I mean, is there a way, again, just thoughts, because if you pull into that driveway, you pull into the motor court, and then as a guest, and if you're not parking on the street, you're walking into the laundry room there. Is there a way to move that garage to the west and somehow reduce the pinch there, screen the parking? You know, again, this is not for me to design, but it might give you a little more way to get a nicer entry in and a little court that comes off the front and reduce some of the parking. Just a thought, but yeah, it just seemed a little pinch there.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying, you know, restudy the driveway and the driveway entrance, because I think that for me, I think the architecture is fine. I think, but this actually, this driveway and the motor court and the garage, you know, I think that's why I was asking for that section to be restudied, to get the driveway away from the property line, maybe turn the garage, your other dia putting to the other side. It just is kind of, it's awkward for me. And that's what I was trying to get.
Also, you might check with the fire department
Oh, yeah. Thanks, John.
Always good to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
always good to do that. Because the fire department is going to want to be able to get in there and get to the back of this house, and I don't know how far that is.
Okay, are we done?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I heard story polls, but I did not hear if a formal site visit was recommended.
Oh, no, by all means. Story polls in my world means we all go out there together. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
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 Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, thank you, William.
Okay. Thank you all.
We will see you in a month or so when we get out there.
Great. Thank you.
Item number 5, last item on the agenda, believe it or not, 160 Olive Mill Road. See you, Lyda, it's not 14 items every week. So, item number 5, Tom, are you here, please?
I'm here.
Excellent. So,
It's Tom Henson, Becker Henson, Nixto Architects. This is a mid-century style house that's surrounded by a really beautiful garden that was designed by Eric Nagelman. And we're just doing a little nipping and tucking. It's got a really small primary bath and closet, and we're extending the existing ridgeline a little bit on the far right. The kitchens, it's a small galley kitchen and breakfast room down at the lower left where you see addition, and we're opening up the kitchen, bigger doors to open up to the pool. And then there's like a service porch on the south side of the addition area now that's underused. There's no way to get out there from the kitchen, but it's got a nice view of the ocean and it's sunny. So we're opening up the kitchen and dining room to the north and south. And then the existing garage is really narrow. It's got 2 narrow single car doors, and we're proposing to widen it about 6 feet to the left, as you can see on the left side, to get one 18-foot garage door. We're hoping to have 4 square feet encroach into the side yard setback, similar to what's happening in the bedroom up above, to give a generous garage as long as we're doing it. The proposed house is 106% FARs. Neighbors are all pretty far away, and the house is really well screened on all 4 sides. When you're in the house, you feel like you're in a garden that could be in the middle of a forest. So maybe next drawing. This is the existing floor plan. You can see there's just a small galley kitchen, small dining area. Living room has no window to the pool area. The owners have 2 young daughters, and they can't see them from the kitchen unless they lean over the sink and turn their head sideways. It should be more open than this. It's got a lot of solid walls, and we're working to make the house more transparent. So it's all about the garden. Here's a proposed floor plan. We're extending the existing ridge line to enlarge the kitchen and dining room and have large sliders on the axis with the pool and on with the existing terrace to the south. It's like a service terrace now, and we're just proposing to make it nicer because there's a nice view there and giving it access. We're also connecting the 2 bedrooms on the left of the house. There's currently no connection, and as the daughters get older, they need their own rooms. Over on the right side, we're the bedroom's staying about the same size, but we're adding a nicer primary bathroom with windows that look out again to the ocean and to a private patio on the right side with a stone wall. Elements are stone, steel look. It probably won't be steel. It might be Fleetwood doors and plaster. So here are elevations. Above is existing, and below we want it again to be transparent and streamlined. So it's all about the garden. And unfortunately, you can't see the house on the street. But once you walk through Eric's garden and a gate, and it's pretty magical inside. And we're proposing that it's got a gravel roof now it's a little too steep for gravel. It's always coming off. We're proposing to have Metal roof, standing seam will work to have it not be reflective. I think that's here are sections. You can propose again, just open and transparent. So when you're inside and outside, so we're bringing the garden in, and maybe you might want to look at photos.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Site photos. There we go. There we go.
So the photo on the left is what you see from Olive Mill Lane. And you can see a chimney and sort of in the background and a gable. And we're just proposing to bring that gable about 10 feet closer to the driveway, but still have nice landscaping.
Does
And then-
everybody know where we are here?
Yes.
Olive Mill Lane,
Yeah, okay, very good.
just off Olive Mill Road.
Yeah, sort of the shortcut up to
Yep.
Middle Road.
The whole road's really well. I mean, it's just, you just see hedges coming up the road. Just looking up and down the street, looking. This is the backyard. It's tropical feeling, and there just are not a lot of, there's too much solid wall now. So if you look in the lower right-hand corner, all that wall, or a lot of that wall, is becoming big sliders, and we're adding sliders on the south side too. So when you're in the kitchen and dining room, the south terrace that's sunny and has the view, and the north terrace with the pool flow together. Continue. This is that's the east side now has a lot of solid, and we're proposing to make the chimney stone and have it be all glass, so it's more sleek and transparent mid-century. And I think, is there another one? If there is, it's sort of the same idea.
Yeah.
We're not proposing to do anything to the landscaping.
I was wondering if you were gonna bring the lawn in.
No lawn, leave well enough alone. I'm so sad that Eric's moved to New Mexico, because otherwise he'd probably. So that's the general idea.
Okay, excellent. Are you done then, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, Claire, you have not had first shot tonight. Your comment, your questions, please.
I have no questions.
Donald, you're on mute, Don. Don, you are muted.
Tom,
Yes.
what is a service porch?
It's got gravel and trash cans, and it doesn't have a door out to it. It's just it's one of the nicest places on the property, and now it's just kind of a collector of things that shouldn't be there.
Nobody wants to look at.
Yeah.
I have no questions.
Bill, please.
Yeah, Tom, what are these dark shaded? Is that the garage door? Is that like a screen of some sort in front of?
It's the garage door, and it would probably be wood, like
a
horizontal slats.
Okay.
And then to the right, there'd be, the idea is horizontal slats as well. And then up above, it's a window into a pantry, but we don't want it to be very visible coming in. So there'd be slats with space in between for the slider behind that.
Same
so
material.
It's all mysterious till you walk through the gate. Sorry.
Okay. I was just saying it's the same material as the door then, or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, stained wood.
Okay. And is that actually a 14 chair table you have in your living room there, or your dining room? Is that the Last Supper table? That's a lot of you got there.
It won't always be that long, but if it could be.
Yeah. Okay, that was it. Thanks.
Elida.
No questions.
Tip.
No questions. Thank you.
David.
No questions, John.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody attending this meeting that would like to address the board on item 5160 Olive Mill Lane, please? Raise your hand.
Nobody's raising their hand. Thanks,
Very
John.
good. Closing public comment. Okay, comments? Claire, please.
I think this is really a nice little upgrade. I mean, because it's kind of it is a mid-century modern, but it's kind of that old style. And I think I love mid-century modern, but when it's old, it's kind of ratty looking. And I think you're doing a really good job of upgrading this building in a really conscientious way. I think it's going to be nice.
Don?
I certainly agree with Claire. It's a good project. Thank you.
Bill?
Yeah, nicely done. I would, yeah, definitely move forward. Come back with more detail and all is good.
In a planner.
Elida?
We have a planner.
Oh, what?
Elida?
No comment.
Tip?
No issue with the project. Thank you.
And I don't either, Tom. Reflectivity of roof material has been raised to us, so please make sure that you have that called out properly. From my point of view, preliminary final, I think at the full board, since we don't have enough really to know everything, next time. Preliminary final at the full board, yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, so
John,
yes,
you missed me, but I agree.
David.
With everything.
David, I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's a very nice project.
Okay, so Tom, you know the routine: light fixtures, details, colors, all of it, right?
Right.
Okay, that's the last. So
Thank you.
preliminary final next meeting. That's the end of the agenda. Is there anybody that would like to move for adjournment, please?
No, I think we can stay here.
Yeah, we're just going to stay here. Is there anybody besides Claire
I'll second
that wants?
that motion.
Okay, is there any discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Summer ends in about 3.5 hours, guys.
Take advantage.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
John.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Kimberly,
Yeah,
I'm gonna include you on emails with several invited guests, okay?
That sounds good. Thank you.
Just so you can see it.
Absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Oh, God, now we have to get out of here. Go there. Oops.